For me, HBO's Succession is the best written show on television right now. From the character dynamics, the acting, the dialogue, the music, stakes and pacing, there's really nothing quite like it. It's a showcase about power, how it's craved, how it's taken, and how it's wielded. Power seems to cast a sort of coercive spell over people that changes how they behave when they come in contact with it. Being in the inner circle, so close to the throne, is simultaneously terrifying and exhilarating. No one who surrounds Logan Roy seems happy. In fact, they're usually operating out of fear.
He's pretty lonely and afraid, I guess.
He's the ultimate bully, impossible to read or please, demanding loyalty and compliance, but expecting innovation and defiance. He wants you to obey his every word, but in order to be respected, you have to find the courage to stand up to him. And if you do it wrong, you could be excommunicated from this theoretically wonderful world of wealth and influence. So what does the family power structure look like?
Like, what's the chain of command here?
Greg is at the bottom, a bumbling newcomer cousin with no real skills, just the desire to participate. He only really earns trust in the inner circle by committing a crime for Tom, who is the next rank ahead of him, as he's about to be married to Siobhan. Then comes Connor, the lowest skilled of the immediate family members, ultimately seeking peace by not being involved. Then Kendall, Siobhan and Roman are just about equals. Perhaps Roman is taken less seriously, but they each have their own strengths and weaknesses, left to fight it out against one another. They all perceive themselves as the leading candidate to take over the company when Logan steps down. And Logan dominates over everyone, so powerful that he practically has an orbit around him. Any room he walks into is instantly changed by his presence. He's vicious, vitriolic, vindictive. Because he steamrolls over everyone, he creates a hostile environment, where everyone who can't speak their mind to Logan takes it out on their inferiors. Or as Barney from How I Met Your Mother put it,
that's why there's a little thing in corporate America I like to call the chain of screaming.
Whenever they're dealing with Logan or the public, everyone seems very polite and hospitable, terrified to say the wrong thing. So they then project that suppressed energy onto others by either scheming against their equals or berating everyone beneath them. Greg exists in a constant state of fear, willing to be bullied by anybody. Tom perceives himself as having earned more power than Greg, so initially asserts that over him or anyone beneath him. But he's so two-faced that when he's around the real family members, he's a total puppy dog pushover.
Oh well, never mind.
I'm home. I hereby comply.
He wants to be in the inner circle of power, but struggles with the brutal reality of how powerless he truly is. Connor washes his hands of responsibility with his siblings.
Why don't you decide everything? I don't care. I just observe. I'm a UN white helmet, all right?
But lashes out at the staff at social events, a rare opportunity for him to exercise his power. Whereas Roman takes his insecurities out on regular people, coercing compliance out of waiters, even dangling $1 million check in front of a child if he can hit a home run. Normal people are just a form of entertainment to him, a toxic quality he has picked up from his father, as Logan treats everyone like they're disposable pawns. He's always in constant control, ordering where you go, when to eat, what to play, and what to think. People are so petrified of battling with Logan because he just loves the fight.
You chisel them out, you f***ing hurt them, and then you watch them squeal. I will win!
There's no low he won't stoop to. He will exploit every weakness he can find, whether it be financial, legal, or emotional. He uses this leverage to strip people of their character and agency, even turning Kendall, his most ambitious son, into an obedient shell of himself, forced to constantly placate in public. There are 3 masterful scenes in succession that really demonstrate the coercive nature of power. The first is in season 1, when Kendall attempts to overthrow his father with a vote of no confidence. Although many people agreed to vote in Kendall's favor, he gets stuck in traffic, and his absence makes Logan's presence all the more intimidating.
You can't be in the room, okay? Guys.
He refuses to leave the room, meaning anyone who votes against him will have to be seen by him.
Asha, I see you.
This bully tactic causes cowering board members to abstain from voting, until the deciding vote comes down to Roman, who hesitates. Sensing any weakness causes Logan to pounce and take back the power from his son, as if he wouldn't dare defy his father, so he directly puts words in his mouth.
Roman for me.
I'm not sure we can count that for you.
Roman.
Against.
If you count them out, deadlock. Continuity prevails. I'm chairman.
He then declares himself the victor and immediately fires his 4 dissenters. This chill effect allows Logan to hold on to power, as he always ensures that every threat is followed through with a harsh punishment, which fosters a culture of fear. Later in Season 2, when he suspects there's a rat amongst the group, he begins to toy with his staff, flexing his authority by ordering that no one can leave the room, coercing compliance. Like a cult leader, he creates in and out groups.
In the corner, over there, stand there, go, 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 go!
At first it seems being disagreeable is synonymous with being honest, and that keeps you in the in-group. So when Greg tries to play by those rules, Logan punishes him, creating no consistency to hold onto except total obedience.
There are no rules.
The in-group, now just relieved to not be cast out yet, all taunt and bully Greg, Carl and Tom, with no justification except for showcasing their sycophantic loyalty to Logan. If the first season had a glimmer of hope for stealing Logan's throne, this episode shut that door entirely, reminding everyone of their place in the pecking order and how quickly they could be cast out. In the famous boat scene, Logan makes it clear that he needs a meaningful skull for the media to fire someone to make it look like the company cleaned up its act. He initially suggests himself, just to test the compliance of his team, who are well used to this trick by now.
No.
No, never. Never. No.
Not in the middle of a proxy fight.
Notice the key difference between the first season, where people felt brave enough to revolt, and how coerced they now feel to instantly comply. But if it's not Logan, then it has to be someone else. So it becomes a verbal fight to the death, where everyone turns on one another, simultaneously trying to come across as reasonable and willing to take one for the team, but also deflecting blame onto someone else. To start things off, Kendall throws Jerry under the bus. Roman then defends Jerry by attacking Frank. Frank accepts it to look reasonable, but then throws the hot potato over to Carl, who then goes back and forth with Jerry, as neither of them feel they could ever attack a real family member. Witnessing this causes Tom to vote for Carl, but Connor splits the vote by voting for Jerry. The fact that your own peers can choose to dogpile on you anytime means it's more advantageous to go on the offense than play defense. So Roman protects Jerry by deflecting the spotlight over to Tom, who looks like he might cry at any moment. Tom begins to circle the drain as Kendall votes against him, and even his wife Shiv labels him the logical choice, exposing her true priorities.
If it should be me, why shouldn't it be you?
I'm not attacking you, I'm
Well,
defending
it doesn't
you.
feel like that. Doesn't feel like that.
The larger the sacrifice you're willing to make for him, the more Logan values you.
What about both of them? Shiv and Tom.
For no reason, Roman suggests Tom with some Greg sprinkles, the siblings now ganging up on anyone below them in the pecking order.
Throwing like a Carl or a Frank or a Ray.
Okay.
What about you? What about Roman?
Connor unexpectedly volunteers to sacrifice himself for a healthy payout, but is so undervalued and meaningless that his suggestion is basically ignored. Logan then dismisses everyone and declares he will take time to reflect on what was said, reinforcing that the power solely lies with him, leaving everyone else to walk away with uncertainty and dread, as well as fractured trust in their relationships. In this one scene, colleagues for over 20 years were trying to destroy one another. Husband and wife were throwing each other under the bus. It's such a raw and intense scene because there's so much riding on it. Their years of investment in the company, their reputation, their access to this world, their role within the family. And Logan just sits back and watches it all unfold with cold detachment, like a sadistic puppet master. He could have just made the decision himself, but he wants to see how much fight they have in them. He wants them to be scrambling scared. He wants relationships underneath him fractured, as that's what maintains his position at the top. And that's what Succession shows us time and time again. that power not only corrupts, but reveals our true character when we're backed into a corner. You might like to think you know yourself, until the opportunity arises and the pressure is on, and you discover that you're subconsciously being carried in a direction you never thought you could go, as if you're drifting with the tide, further and further away from shore. And if you enjoyed this video, or just love Succession, don't forget to support the channel by liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing for more content like this in the future.